Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of News Where's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the most up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is Bill Olson, our trading anchor, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. We're going to get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are moving higher this morning, with S&P futures up 0.2%, Dow futures up 0.1%, and NASDAQ futures up 0.54%. Investors are waiting for clues on policymakers thinking on interest rates and stimulus through the most recent Fed meeting minutes to be released today. Didi Global extended its losses in the U.S. after a Chinese crackdown on firms listing their shares abroad. Elsewhere in markets, 10-year treasury yields were steady after hitting February lows in the U.S. hours. The dollar has remained flat against major world currencies. Oil has continued gains amid the OPEC+crisis in commodities. Copper has declined and gold has advanced for a sixth day. Over in Europe, the Stock 600 index climbed with gains in tech shares boosted by NASDAQ 100's record rise just Tuesday. Markets also saw commodity sectors outperform, with Royal Dutch Shell rising more than 3% after saying it will give returns to shareholders. Over in Asia, stocks fell, with Chinese tech firms in Hong Kong retreating after Beijing's cybersecurity probe on Didi Global. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
Well, I've been watching the S&Ps all morning long. They're essentially flat going into, the 7 o'clock hour, but it's since, really started to gain some momentum. And you see the S&Ps are up 0.23%. That's a nice positive for the morning. You have that JOLTS report coming out soon. That's the job openings report. That's going to be a nice little kick, a little positive for the S&Ps. But the real issue is the real economic event today is going to be the release of the Fed meeting minutes. I expect the market to be trading in a tight trading range this morning, but those minutes are really going to create some volatility. And the market is really focused on looking for signs of tapering the asset purchases that the Fed is doing. About that asset purchasing, the Dallas Fed Bank President, Robert Kaplan, and St. Louis Fed Bank President, James Bullard, these two guys have been out there pushing their agenda hard. And recently, Boston Fed Bank President Eric Rosengreen has jumped into their camp. 3 members is hardly a majority, but these guys are first to speak to try and set the narrative. And nothing's going to happen. I don't think you're going to see anything, soon. Maybe at the Jackson Hole Summit or at the September meeting. That's when talk of asset purchasing unwinding is likely to really come up. Jerome Powell is really came out there and he said, listen, we discussed it, so that should put an end of when we're going to be talking about it. That's not enough information, but hopefully these meeting minutes are going to provide some additional clues. Keeping my eye on oil. Oil was very volatile yesterday. Oil's trading a little higher this morning. Market's looking for some clues from OPEC as to when the timing is of their next meeting. It's got to be soon. They've already come out and said it's going to be within the next 10 days. United Arab Emirates is really the holdup. They want their quotas to be changed so they can pay for this new infrastructure that they've recently done. But we'll see what happens. Remember, Saudi Arabia holds the big gun here. And this is going to be an interesting time for oil prices over the rest of this month.
Moving into our earnings to watch, it looked like Smart Global did pretty well. Bill, why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, we talked about Smart Global yesterday. That's ticker SGH, Sam Grace Henry. They delivered a 30-cent beat on higher revenue. You look at the stock this morning, it's already up 6%. It's a light week for earnings, but Smart Global really came through, and it's positive on the earnings front today.
Any insights as far as upcoming earning announcements?
Oh, WD-40 is coming out this afternoon. That's ticker WDFC, William David Frank Charlie. Now, the estimates here are for $1.15. The estimated move here is about 8.39%. They didn't have a good quarter last, and was when they reported in April. So there's a little concern here. But we'll have to wait to see how WD-40 is trading today. Keep an eye on the option volumes to see if we can get any insight as to whether a real beat or miss is going to happen. I'm also looking at Helen of Troy, which is releasing tomorrow. Their ticker symbol is HELE, Happy Elvis Larry Elvis. EPS estimates are $2.61. The expected move here for Helen of Troy is 7.34%.
Moving into economic reports, Bill, tell us what we're seeing for reports today.
At 8:55 a.m. this morning, we have the Red Book on retail sales. At 10 a.m., we have the JOLTS report, the job openings report coming out. And at 2 o'clock, the all-important release of the Fed meeting minutes. At 3:30, it should be noted that Atlanta Fed Bank President Raphael Bostic will be speaking as well.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on America's Gold and Silver, ticker USAS. The company has signed an agreement with the Mexican Ministries of Economy, Interior, and Labor, committing to reopening at the Cosala operations that was shut down for over 17 months by an illegal blockade. USAS share price is up 3.16% in pre-market. News on Athena Technology acquisition, that's ticker ATHN. The company is set to combine businesses with Heliogen, an AI-enabled concentrated solar power plant company. The combined companies will have a value of $415 million and will trade on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol HLGN. Athena's share price is up 2.26% in pre-market. Update on Didi Global, ticker DIDI. Shares of the company have dropped another 4% in pre-market today after reports that the company's main ride-sharing app has been removed from Tencent's messaging services, as well as Ant Group's Alipay. In other news, NASA has awarded a $531 million mechanical integrated services and technology contract to a joint venture between Aerodyne and KBR, that's ticker KBR. The joint venture will be providing engineering services for spaceflight and ground systems, which includes the development and validation of new technologies for future space and science missions. KBR share price is up 3.87% in pre-market. In other news, Planet Labs and DMYIV, that's ticker DMYQ, have entered into a merger. The combined company will trade as Planet under the ticker symbol PL and has a combined value of $2.8 billion. In other news, Energy Fuels, ticker UUUU, and Neo Performance announced that the first container of an expected 15 containers of mixed rare earth carbonate as a new U.S. to Europe rare earth supply chain will be underway. Energy Fuel share price is up 1.57% in pre-market. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Well, Shane, I break my news alerts down into specific sectors. I'm looking for specific industries. I'm looking for specific events. And, you combine those two and you really find market moving opportunities, and you're typically able to jump in before the real price action starts to take effect. I start off every morning with my FANG alert, and, there's a lot of issues going on with the FANG stocks, especially the social media stocks in Hong Kong because of this new law that's being passed in Hong Kong. And these social media stocks have basically put Hong Kong on notice, saying they may not do business with them if this law is passed. Yesterday, Hong Kong's chief executive, a lady by the name of Carrie Lam, she was trying to ease concerns of these U.S. tech companies about the proposed changes to the data protection laws, saying the new laws are needed to stop malicious posting of people's personal information online. But the government would be willing to listen. Sounds like a little lip service. I think that these social media companies are going to be real, and they're not going to allow their data to be censored even by the Hong Kong government. Looking over at Google this morning, this ticker GOOG. Wall Street Journal's reports that they found that YouTube's algorithm is actually directing viewers to false claims and sensationalized content rather than the specific content that people are looking for. Google comes out and says that it's only 1%, but according to the Wall Street Journal report, it was significantly higher than that. In terms of Facebook and Google, the second quarter earnings results coming out in a few weeks are expected to be good, even though Apple changed their privacy laws, making people have to opt in to have their data sent to advertisers. The advertisers already have it, so this quarter shouldn't hurt them. It's the upcoming quarters that could be a concern, but this quarter should be fine. I'm moving over to my Dow Jones 30 alert. IBM, shares were under pressure yesterday as a result of management reshuffling, which is said to be a drag on the stock. Microsoft, we all know about what happened yesterday. The U.S. government canceled that JEDI contract that was awarded to Microsoft. It looks like they're going to have to rebid. And, so it's not a huge negative. I mean, Microsoft hadn't really been putting too much money into it. It hasn't started yet, but it is a negative that they lost it, but they still have the potential to gain or win a partial aspect of this contract. Verizon unveiled their Thor Mobile. What Thor Mobile is, it's a 5G rapid response command vehicle that is going to be utilized during natural disasters, where it gives people access to 5G networks and satellite transmissions, even if all the power is out. So this is a positive step for Verizon to keep the internet communications flowing. Looking over at my option headlines, it was all about Chinese stocks yesterday. You look at BABA, ticker BABA, that's Alibaba. The 30-day option implied volatility is at 29 compared to the 52-week range of 24 to 56. This happened after Beijing's plans announced to step up supervision of Chinese firms listed offshore. JD, that's JD.com, ticker John David, JD. 30-day option implied volatility is at 33 compared to the 52-week range of 31 to 63. I can't do anything on Didi, only for the fact that it's only been public for a week. But these volatilities are interesting to me. I'm looking at events that are going on today. WR Grace, that's ticker GRA, Grace Richard Apple. At 9 a.m., they start their annual shareholders meeting. Rite Aid, that's ticker RAD, Richard Apple David. They're going to have their annual shareholders meeting, which is scheduled to commence at 11:30 a.m. today. But that's what I have as far as my news announcements today, Shane.
Let's talk about our Trade Talk picks for today. I'm picking one I spoke about, KBR, ticker KBR. Positive news how they were awarded this $531 million contract on their joint venture. And beyond that, they're positive. It's already received positively as it's up 3.87% in pre-market. And another positive is this is a stock that's been in Stanley Druckenmiller's portfolio for years. So he supports it. He believes in it. And they've got hot news. And they're already up in positive pre-market. So I can see this being one that keeps running up a little bit more. I'd be a little cautious on the open. I think I'd like to look at this one at the open and see if there's some weakness before getting in, as it's up a little bit so far already, and there might be a little bit of pullback, which can help us to actually get a better gain on it. But I do expect this one to go higher. What's your pick looking like, Bill?
I'm going with Federal Express. That's ticker FDX, Frank David X-Ray. The stock took a beating yesterday, but the news surrounding the stock is all positive. You look at it, the stock's trading 293.50. That's a nice entry point, 293.50. Bank of America called it one of its best ideas for the third quarter. It really did, that sell-off yesterday seemed a little bit overdone. I think this could easily see $1 or $2 gain today. Just be a little careful with that opening price. You want to get it under the 294 area, but I think that this thing could really see some momentum this afternoon. I also like the raw material space. I think that, these raw material stocks are going to go show some nice gains today, but I'm looking at them at the pre-market. They're all up nicely, so I really can't do anything in the raw materials. So I'm sticking with FedEx, ticker FDX, Frank David X-Ray today.
Moving into what's hot off the press, it's the news that's hitting the tape as we speak. Let's get into it. Bill, which are the headlines we should be letting traders know about?
Big Commerce, it's ticker BIGC, Boy India Grace Charlie. Big Commerce is teaming with Amazon to fulfill e-commerce orders. Here's one on McKesson, it's ticker MCK, Michael Charlie Kilo. McKesson to sell certain European businesses to a Phoenix Group.
Bridge Investment Group going to be trading on New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol BRDG.
Here's one on Newegg, it's ticker NEGG, Nancy Edward Grace Grace. Newegg Commerce offers professionally built PC assembly. This is something new. They're building their own PCs. It's kind of interesting for shares of Newegg. Jacobs Engineering, ticker J, they were selected by Auckland for a contract valued at $455 million.
Enghouse Systems has acquired Momentum SAS. Here's a stock to watch. Orbstat, ticker symbol OSAT, which was up over 15% in pre-market, definitely lower now, has been one of the third highest trending names on a stock market social media site.
Here's one, ticker AMG, Michael Grace. Citi opens a catalyst watch on affiliated managers. They raise their price target to $246. It's a 30-day positive catalyst watch.
Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm seeing this morning, Shane.
Same here. So that'll do it for What's Hot the Press. Traders, keep in mind you can receive the same breaking stories we do simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out. It'll definitely up your trading game. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Tuesday. I had Charter Industries, ticker GTLS. It opened at $150.60 and had a quick high. It got to $152.26 within the first hour of the market. So for a 1 to 2% trade, but from there it couldn't hold. So it took a drop down to $147. And by the close, the stock had worked its way back up to $149.17 for a 0.9% loss. So really just kind of had a flat to low day. How did yours end up doing, Bill?
Well, yesterday I went with CrowdStrike. That's ticker CRWD, Charlie, Richard, William, David. Stock opened up at $257.84. Then it ran. It actually hit a high at $267.84. That was a big move. And it closed at $264.98. That's a 2.75% move from the opening price to the close. The stock remains strong this morning. That's up another 1.3% to 268.51. So it was a real good winner yesterday. CrowdStrike, CRWD, Charlie, Richard, William, David.
Nice. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk with Traders. You know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.